And we are live. Hello. Magda here from Cocharya.
Hello.
Hi. You've
Hi.
seen a lot of me today, or today, this past week. But this is my last interview for this week. So we are here to talk about another session from our awesome upcoming event that starts on Monday, Awake, Aware, Arise. And this is a free event. We will come to you via Zoom 3 times every single day. It's a follow the sun schedule. So wherever you are in the world, you can see a couple sessions at least during your waking hours. And the goal of the event is to challenge people's thinking. There are so many systemic problems in the world. And we all care about different ones. We should all care about all of them, but we all care about different ones. And we talk a lot about them, and especially as coaches and leaders, sometimes it's a little tough to figure out, well, what's next? How do we inspire and motivate people? What do we do to affect these systemic problems? So during Awake, Aware, Arise, we're going to be looking at different ways of thinking about these issues, different ways of introspection for ourselves, because let's face it, any change that's going to happen in the world starts with us first, right? So anyway, there'll be something for everyone. So whether you are completely, even know what coaching is, that's fine, come along, because you will learn a ton. And if you're an experienced master coach who we all look up to, you should also come, because you too will learn something, because you are experienced enough to know that learning is a lifelong journey. So today's lovely guests are Emma and Daniela, both of us joining us from Europe. Daniela is one of our alumni, and Emma is a friend of hers and collaborator, from what I know. The ladies will introduce themselves in a second, but the topic is what we can learn from animals. And as any of you who have ever seen anything on any of my social media channels, you'll know that that's something near and dear to my heart. And my co-host for today is Sailor Dog. Sailor, say hi. Sailor. Hello. Love you. Do you love me? He's like, I don't know about that. I'm making my call. Leave me alone. Animals are amazing. They're awesome. I love them. I thought that I had a nice collection of strays until I met Daniela. So I'll be quiet now. Daniela, why don't you tell us who you are, where you are? Tell us about all your animals and about your session.
Okay, so I live in Brussels. I live in Belgium. I'm Romanian. I've been in Belgium for 20 years. I'm a translator. I'm working as a translator in English, French, and Romanian, of course. And I am very, very fond of dogs. I have dogs. I have cats. I love them. I've been learning a lot from them, and I think they have really been my best masters of Zen masters. I've learned from them many things, but I would like first to have Emma introduce herself, and then maybe we'll discuss a bit more about our future section.
So I'm Emma. I've had several careers, and I'm now in, I think, my 4th manifestation within this lifetime, which is kind of interesting. I'm a trustee in a shelter in France, a very large shelter with urban dogs and rural dogs and all kinds of problems. And I've come here from working at a national level in teaching and also in consultancy and management. So I've had kind of a varied career and ended up here with animals. And I think what you said, Magda, at the beginning about how we have all got our own concerns and our own kind of niches, I think that's important. And Daniela has her focus in how she works with animals, and I have mine. And I think it's really nice to have people champion their causes and to take that corner and to fight for the things that they're interested in. And the more of us we are, and the more we listen to each other, and the more voices we hear, we find that the problems are the same and that we're all facing the same kind of situations. And I think there's so much we can learn from each other, as you said, about this learning journey that we're all on. That it's so interesting to see that progress, having moved, you know, through 2 or 3 different countries, and to see different ways of living with animals and to appreciate them for what they are, and to see, you know, not to bring my kind of own cultural perspective to it. So that's important as well. And I think working with animals in particular, it helps you remove those cultural goggles that can stifle you sometimes from working with people and can get in the way of those relationships with others. So that's me in a nutshell.
It's a good nutshell. Animals don't lie, do they? Animals just
Oh, I don't know.
are.
I don't know. One of my spaniels ate a toffee off the table once, and I asked her if it was her, and she said no. And all my other dogs were looking at her, and it definitely was, because she was still chewing it. So, and I don't know for cats.
Cats are no, I'm not gonna lie, I don't care.
No, it's absolutely right. And we were just, Daniela and I were just talking before about how animals kind of change our working with animals and learning with animals and living with animals brings you, I think, a different perspective about living and learning and working with humans as well. Especially in terms of conflict, and the fact that when you're living in a state of conflict with other human beings, whether you're a manager, whether you're coaching them, sometimes we can get kind of hemmed in by that. I'm the expert, you're the person here for help, and we can get that kind of the power dynamic, if you like, that we think we're right and that they're wrong, or that something is wrong in their life and they need our guidance and our expert opinion. Whereas animals, it's not like that. We can't tell our dogs how to function. We can't tell our cats how to live life better. And so what we have to do very much is very instinctively guide them in a very thoughtful way, asking ourselves all the time, is this right to make this decision for this other being? Is this the right direction that I'm taking with them? And I'm always reminded of Gerald Egan, who says that helping is not anodyne, it's not neutral, that whenever we engage in an interaction, whether it's with a human or another animal, something happens, there's some kind of transition, we leave something behind for them, and we alter them, and they alter us. So every interaction that we have, even whether it's as a coach, and whether we're leading people through change, or whether it's somebody who's asking for help and being coached through change, whatever the dynamic of that interaction is, there's a residue for both sides. And that's very much true for animals, that we kind of they change us as much as we change them, and that's the same when we're working with human beings as well. And kind of know that when we engage in any interaction with any person, any individual from any species, that we need to make sure that we're doing it in a benevolent and very kind way, and that we're doing the right thing, because it is so difficult when we're in a position of power, like we are with animals, to do the wrong thing and to make bad choices. And I think that impacts kind of how I think and how I relate, I think, to other people these days, that I'm much more kind of, I don't know, more respectful of what they're doing and their kind of journey, and a much more hands-off approach of, okay, so what is it you want? What do you want? What will help make your life better? What will improve the quality of your way of functioning? And not so much like, I think this is what you should be doing. And so that's what animals have taught me, really, I think.
I love it. Oh. As Daniela will know, I could do a whole conference on this topic, not just one session. Yeah.
We would spend the night. We would spend the night easily.
Yeah.
Easily.
Daniela, do you want to talk about kind of your perspective and the work that you do?
Yeah, so I've been much concentrating on rescuing dogs from Romania and Spain. So my niche is Romis and Galgos and Podencos, but particularly Podencos, which are very special dogs, very sensitive. They are called primary breed. So they are not exactly greyhounds. They are not exactly sighthounds, but they are very much used for hunting in Spain and very much abused as well. And they are much less known than the Galgos. They are clones. They are really very funny dogs, full of very interactive. So it's really a happiness to have their dogs, but they are very challenging as well. So you never have a dull moment with the Podenco. What I was thinking and talking with Emma before was that actually from one student who was a bit traumatized because he had a very, very difficult life with his hunter before going to a shelter and then coming to my place, was that I could learn to slow down. Something that I was always living at, I don't know, 1,000 miles per hour. I was living a very fast life, not very helpful for myself and for my well-being. And this dog was afraid of anything. If I was breathing too hard, he would freak out. So I've had to learn to tune into his energy, to tune into his frequency. And I could see I was doing well and I was moving the right way when he was relaxed. And I got my cues from him. And little by little, it became my second nature. I was not anymore the person who is jumping, giving an answer, giving a suggestion, giving an idea, giving advice or anything. I was just there holding the space for the other person, which was not traumatized, was not a traumatized dog from Spain, but still it was really a complete change of perspective for me. I think I could also pass this message to other people and they've learned as well from that. For the Romies as well. You know, when you have dogs, you also think much more in terms of security. There is something that you have in mind all the time, because particularly these dogs who are so special because they have such a different life. They are not born necessarily in a home. They are not born, they haven't lived in a house. Everything is new when they come, for example, to town. And then security is the master word for them. And you start to become a bit paranoid, to be honest, when it comes to security for them. And this is something that not everybody can immediately understand and grasp. It's a concept quite complicated for people who have always been living in an environment which was basically safe and could not think how things, and Emma can relate, I think, a lot to this, how important security is. If you have experience and you have something to add, please go on.
No, I think it's so true, and it's so important that when we enter into an interaction with any animal, that we're thinking of that security and that safety for them. And we were talking before when you were saying about tuning in with their frequency and how we really, it's about that synchronization, isn't it? It's about that falling into step with them. And knowing that our interactions with them should be driven by them rather than perhaps, taking a master step and saying, okay, well, I think this is better for you. Because so much of that feeling of security and safeness comes through choice. When we can make our own choices, then we feel like we're secure and we're safe. Even if we're only making a choice between one or two things, that brings us that security and that safety of knowing that, okay, well, I'm in control here. So it brings us a sense of control that's so really important when we're trying to make ourselves feel safe. So the more we can control, I mean, we see that with people, don't we, who manifest with obsessive compulsive disorders or anxiety, that very much it's about controlling their environment and trying to make the environment make more sense. And we see that so often with dogs, that I think for me the absolute fundamentals when working with any animal is about choice, and it's about giving them control and about letting them go where they need to, rather than starting with a fixed agenda in our head of this is how our relationship should be and this is how their life should be, and doing so in a kind of a benevolent way, so that we're not just letting them eat from garbage and go around rampaging and destroying other people's lives by barking all the time and making other people miserable. So I think it's very much about balance and synchronization for me.
Look, it's going to be an awesome session. I cannot wait to hear more about this. And there's going to be other panelists joining you, Kelly, who works with horses. But yeah, it's even listening to you now, just like I'm reflecting on my experiences with animals, and especially my Sailor dog, who's now on the floor. When I got Sailor, he was about 2, we think, and he was abused before, like really abused. But he's this tiny dog. I mean, tiny, 25 pounds, and I just can't understand how anybody would harm him. But this poor guy, like he wouldn't make a noise, like not a happy noise, not a sad noise at all for the first year that he was with me. And I remember the first time he protected me from the mailman, and I was so proud of him. Like, oh, he feels safe that he can speak. Anyway.
I'm just at that point now with mine where I'm saying, you don't need to tell the mailman that I need protecting, or the cyclists that are going past. They are really not going to break in and rob us.
Mine is being selective now. He only barks when he's protecting me. Otherwise, he's super quiet and adorable. Right, Sailor? Yeah, he's like looking for a walk. Yeah. Ladies, I'm looking forward to your session very, very much, more than I think you know, and more than anybody else, because animals are the best. So I'll add your link to your session, to registration, in the comments in this video, wherever you're watching it. And Daniela and Emma, if you could also send me some links to include in the comments where people can support the work that you do with the rescue that Emma runs and the dogs that Daniela works with, getting them from unsafe situations in Spain and Romania and into loving homes where they can be someone's paparono, like my dog. Yeah, we'd love to support you beyond just this session.
Magda, thanks a lot, Sailor, mainly. I would like to thank you, Sailor, first of all.
Sailor, like, no, I don't care. I'm looking at me anymore. He's like looking at the door. He's like, it's our time to go for a walk. What are you doing? Yeah. Okay. Maybe your dog is a master. My dog is my... Yeah, I have 4 masters, 3 cats and a dog, but they're all in charge of me.
It's always that way with cats.
Oh, yeah, especially my dog cat. Anyway, thank you so much, ladies. Have a lovely day and weekend, everyone who is watching now or later. I will see you on Monday at 9 a.m. CST, which I believe is, oh gosh, 3 p.m. No. I don't know. I'll see you on Monday. Awakeorarise.com is where you can see the schedule and convert your time zone.
15 EDT.
Yeah. Cool. So I still can't convert it to anything else because I suck at this. Timeanddate.com is my savior on a daily basis. But yeah, Monday we start. Awakeorarise.com. We will see you 3 times every single day, Monday through Thursday, for 5 weeks. So if you want to learn, if you are a coach, if you are a leader, if you are a human who just has the capacity to learn and wants to make the world a better place, please join us for one or all the sessions. It's all free. So please tell your networks and your friends, and I will see you Monday. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.